The fire burning red in a Judicial representing of a comes audio. Big up Kidaki, Buxton massive. Hey Babylon boy, you go on like come son. Red.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money never, money never, money never, money never, money never, money. I know what you're conniving, money. Money never, money never, money never, money. You can keep your conniving money. When you've been up for a bum, in a bit tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bit tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money never, money never, money, money never, money, money. I don't want you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that we walk for. A 2 pound note and a guild piece. A 2 pound note and a guild piece. A 2 pound note and a guild piece. This is all the money that we walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Bridgeford, Borkan, Mark, Benchcop, David Hines and Kadaki, Amsterdam, Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London, Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Poor People Governor, Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson, Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
It's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday with Al Christie and popular DJs at Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North.
Here, trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in town, you're looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. And then of course the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned, the decor is on point, the music's on point, everything's on point. So if you want to find a nice little place where you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent a hall. You can rent a hall, honey. You can rent a hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out, you know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. This is Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely need it too.
Are you planning your next visit to Oil Ridge, Guyana, South America? Well, let's accommodate you at Varon's Cheerful Country Manor. With free secured on-premises parking, our beautiful vacation air-conditioned home offers 3 beds, 2 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and all modern amenities. Located at Tushen, on the eastern bank of the mighty Essequibo and the western coast of Demerara, Varon's Cheerful Country Manor is just a stone throw from the ocean. Make that reservation now on Airbnb and VRBO. For contact, call us on 516-770-3053 or 592-685-3521. Make Varon's Cheerful Country Manor your home away from home.
All right, so you might be wondering where we are. Still in Buxton at Club Twilight. That's where we are. So Club Twilight also has like an Airbnb as well. So you could come, drink, drunk, and come in the back here and lie down. Look at that. Look at that. Perfection. And the people come in the room and so on. The bed sheet matching the blind, matching the carpet, matching the this, matching the that. We know but we things in Buxton don't play with we. So definitely if you want to come and, you know, you may be having a wedding or whatever and you just want to overnight and just have a good time because you're going to be drunk. We got too much road accidents. So you definitely want to come, drink, have a good time. They have several rooms that you can rent. You have your toilet, you have your bath, you have your sink, you have your dining area, you have the bed. This is nice. I like it. Anyways, to my friends and my family, if you're looking for me, I'll be overnighting. Also for those persons who are traveling in from overseas, you want a nice, cozy place out of town, then Club Twilight, call them up, Look them up on social media. They have their own Facebook page, and ensure that you come up the side and have a good time. Have a good time. Have a good time. I'm sorry. That's it.
Don't be a victim. Beat the heat with EC crystals. Party ice in large and small quantities. Call 682-7981 or visit us at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. EC crystals, pure party ice. Stop running around like headless chicken. Go to Ashton's Marketplace for whole and cut chicken, beef, pork, processed meats like bacon, beef franks, smoked ham, ground pork, calabresa, and lots more. Ashton's offers wholesale and retail. Check them out. Call 613-2332 or WhatsApp 434-327-3955. Ashton's Marketplace at 72 Rob Street, Border.
All right, so today we are here at Club Twilight up in Buxton, and we are here to talk about all that's going on up here. Trust me, if you are on the East Coast, you're in Buxton, you're in Tongue, you're looking for a place to get away to, this is the place. The Cutters, mwah. Listen, I'll be having some just now again. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, the ambience is beautiful, fully air conditioned. The decor is on point. The music's on point. Everything's on point. It's just me. I need some work. But everything else that belongs to this club here is on point. So if you want to find a nice little place where you can just drive out of town and have some drinks, have some food, you can call, you can order your stuff and just take it. You don't have to stay. Or if you want to stay here, that's what's up. And of course, they have special events for Valentine's. You can rent the hall. You can rent the hall, honey. You can rent the hall for weddings, for birthday parties, to have a bash. I hope he edits that out. But you know, whatever it is, this is definitely the place to be. So it's on Sideline Dam. You definitely want to ensure that you check this place out. But it's on your to-do list. All right, on your to-do list. This is definitely the place to check out, you know, a really cool, chill spot here in Buxton. I like this. Buxton needed this. We needed this. I needed this. You definitely need it too. Thank you.
Comes out your son. You burn this wine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes, I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive. Kidaki, Red Hat.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop, located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
Boots on the ground.
Time and place once more before you leave.
Pardon, sorry?
Adriana, time and place once more before you leave.
Okay, so we're meeting at 10 o'clock outside of the Court of Appeal this morning, and walk with your placards. No.
Morning. Morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. It is now 28 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour on the 7th day of January in the year 2024. How you been? How was it yesterday? Was it last night? What were you able to achieve yesterday that gave you hope that today will be a better day? Talk to me. I want to know. Do you feel enthusiastic about the prospects of this country? Do you feel enthusiastic that while we are mere months away from an election, a national election, regional and general elections, that we are as prepared as we can be and ought to be, that the opposition is doing enough and has done enough to make its case to the voters? Do you believe as a citizen you have done enough to start and engage in the kind of conversations that are necessary leading up to an election and a vote that is considered a sensible vote, and a vote that has the likelihood of giving you the political outcomes that you need? Talk to me, I want to know. It's 26 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. How have you been? Y'all talk to me, I want to know what's happening. I see a lot of persons have reacted to videos of the silent protest yesterday. And a lot of people are saying they're surprised that the attendance was so poor. They expected more people. They wanted to see more people, and so on and so forth. But I want to ask the rhetorical question. How is it that more people will get to the protest? Or how is it you're going to see more people at the protest? The organizers don't manufacture people. The organizers don't have chains and shackles on people and they can whip them to go and join the protest. The organizers have made an appeal for people to go and join the protest, even during their lunch hours. And so if they are small numbers at these events, which are supposed to be pro-democracy events, then you don't blame the organizers. I dare say you blame the people. And then again, the question is whether or not you blame the people. Because the question is whether or not the people have an interest in the issues that are being raised. Are the people aware enough to understand the importance of an impartial judiciary? Are the people aware enough to understand that the removal of Janet Cummings Edwards, Justices Janet Cummings Edwards and Roxanne George Wiltshire, I think her name is, and replacing them with pro-PPP justices? Do people understand the implications of such an action? I think not so long ago, a bill was passed to increase the number of judges on the appeal court. I think it is. Increase the number of judges, high court judges, appeal court judges. I don't blame me, I didn't do the research. But I'm remembering that such a bill was passed or taken to the National Assembly. At that time, I did opine that the PPP was making efforts to stack. Bill passed to increase complement of appellate judges. Bill to increase number of Court of Appeal judges passed. Acting High Court judges confirmed. Bill table to increase the number of appeal court judges. Right. And the bill was passed according to the Kaicho News. It was April 26, 2023. Kaicho News reported on this. For those of you who don't know and who didn't follow the matter, let me read quickly for you this item here. Bill passed to increase complement of appellate judges. The long overdue Court of Appeal Amendment Bill of 2022 was on Monday passed in the National Assembly to improve the efficiency of court proceedings, as well as increase the complement of judges in the Court of Appeal. This comes in response to the mammoth caseload on the Court of Appeal docket and the small complement of judges to dispose of matters in a timely manner. Currently, only 3 permanent appellate judges sit on the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal Amendment Bill of 2022 amends Section 34(1) of the Court of Appeal Act, capital 3:01, which presently provides that the judges of the Court of Appeal shall include no more than 5 justices of appeal. It is aimed at increasing the number of appellate court judges to at least 5 and no more than 9. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Moabir Anil Nandlal, Senior Counsel, said the increase in the complement of judges is long overdue amid a tremendous increase in litigation. Quote, in my view, the propensity to litigate in Guyana has grown progressively over the years. It is therefore both unreasonable and impossible to expect the same number of judges to cope efficiently in the face of such an increase in workload. Quote, our government has been a willing and reliable partner in supporting the judiciary in every initiative designed to improve the justice system and bring to its processes greater dispatch, end quote. Let me just stick with it there. Good. So that story dated April 26, 2023, indicated that the PPP are taking steps to increase the number of appellate court judges. I said it then, and I'm going to repeat it, that yes, the workload was heavy or is heavy. But I also said the PPP will now take the opportunity, having passed that bill, to start the judiciary with judges favorable to them. Judges favorable to them. I mean, it's natural every government will try to do the things that will be in their best interest. You can't run from that. Can't run from that fact. Right? Can't run from that fact. And so, by no means should you be surprised when you understand, or when it's pointed out to you and you can verify, that the efforts of the PPP in terms of these meanderings with the judiciary is to ensure that they have a judiciary that is quote unquote pliable to them. A judiciary that will perhaps cater to their needs. Because no doubt, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of litigation that will take place in this country for very many reasons. After the passage of that law, 10 High Court judges were appointed, right? Or 10 new judges were appointed. I'll throw them up on the screen for you to look at them. We have Nicole Peer, Hassan Yassin, Joy Prasad Singh, Deborah Kumar Chetty, Zamina Alice Paul, Jacqueline Josiah Graham, Shirley Isaacs Marcus, Nigel Niles. You seeing them there? Priscilla Chandra Hanif and Peter Yu. Good. Those are the 10 judges that were appointed most recently under the PPP. That was June of last year. Those 10 judges were appointed. I can't speak in any way to the character of the judges. I can't speak in any way to their allegiances. So I will leave that up to you to be the judge. But what I do know is that the PPP doesn't do anything or give anybody quote unquote power when they can't, for the greater part, exert control over them. Good. So I invite you to do your investigations, do your research, and see what you can find out about the impartiality or lack thereof of the person, the 10 justices appointed in June of last year. You see, in my mind, nothing is, where the PPP is concerned, at least in this whole judiciary issue. These things are not separate and apart. They are part of a program. They are part of a program. First, let's increase the number of judges because the current status, based on what we've seen over the years or over the months, suggests that we are not going to be able to have our way with that quote-unquote small complement. And so let us increase the number Because if we increase the number, it means we will get to appoint new ones. And in getting to appoint new ones, it's quite possible that we will get the opportunity to appoint those who are, quote unquote, favorable to us. And so having passed that bill to the increase, then the appointments came, 10 judges. And with 10 judges now comes the pressure from society for the confirmation or the appointment of substantive chancellor and chief justice. And so since the societal pressure is rising for us to appoint in a substantive way a chancellor and a chief justice, we have to make that decision. And again, looking at history or this historical perspective, taking the historical perspective, it would appear as though we can't have our way necessarily with this current chief justice and chancellor. And so we are not going to appoint them, because then we'll be shooting ourselves in the foot perhaps. And so we don't want to appoint them. As somebody say, the chief justice, and this is people's opinion, the chief justice might be acceptable to the PPP, but not necessarily the chancellor. But one might argue that the two of them come like Batty and Poe or a package, because they both have been acting for that extended period of time, and it would definitely be unfair to appoint one and not the other. And so if we can't appoint both, as my grandmother perhaps used to say, if you can't feed everybody, feed nobody. If you can't appoint both, then appoint none, because if you appoint one, then you will hear the hue and cry from society that you're biased and so on and so forth. You appointed this particular person because from the looks of things, they cater to your needs. But you refuse to appoint the other because you've not been able to have your way with that. Right? So let's not appoint them. Let us look for people who we know, we are definitely sure about, who will cater to our needs. And like I said yesterday, I am not at liberty. Not that I'm not at liberty. I have the freedom to, I guess. But I don't think I have the energy right now to deal with the complications that may result from me calling me. Right? But I know one of the names suggested to replace either of these ladies is, in my mind, one of the most racist on the judiciary. One of the most racist on the judiciary. I can tell you that. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. Some people say, call name, I'm going to whistle. Right? But even this morning, I'm not in a whistling mood. I'm not likely to whistle. But you have to look for yourselves. You have to look for yourselves and examine, look at the rulings in this society at the level of justices, and see what the people that seem to hand on the harshest sentences when it comes to a particular ethnic group being the quote-unquote perpetrators of crime versus another ethnic group. Just do the analysis. I think it is right out there. The information is right in front of all of our eyes. And so when my friends like Rhonda and so on cussing out and saying, do appoint Roxanne George and Janet Cummins, because Roxanne George, for example, according to the allegations, has always given the PPP the way and let she face the consequences. I ask you to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What does it mean when, as an alternative to quote-unquote Indian rights, nationalists, Indian supremacists, I don't know how to describe them. Take the place of the current chancellor and the Chief Justice acting. What does it mean for non-Indians in this society? What does it mean for people who are not supportive of the PPP in this society? Can you imagine what it means? Don't tell me about the independence of the judiciary. I don't think I don't think really and truly we have many justices in this society who can really stand on a pedestal of independence. Because what the PPP has done for the greater part is put public servants in general in a tenuous position. They put them in acting positions, they keep them in acting positions, and they dangle that over their head in that if you don't do our bidding, you will never be confirmed. And every human being, let's go check Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Every human being wants to get to that point of self-actualization. Every human being wants to achieve the highest possible height that they can in their career. And so when you hold that guillotine over the head, that guillotine of acting, and if you don't do my bidding, then you ain't getting no place. Impartiality goes out the door in many instances. And that is another danger in this society. Allowing the government to keep senior functionaries in the public service, in the judiciary, in the service commissions, etc., keep senior functionaries as actors. Because their confirmation is determined on whether or not the government is satisfied, pleased with how they cater to them. And so at the end of the day, many of their decisions will be questioned or will be viewed in a questionable manner because we will be thinking they only took the side of the government because they're acting and they want the government to be favorable to them. Is that the kind of society that we want to live in? Where justice, as they say, justice should not only be done, but it must be seen as being done. Do we want a society where the rulings of our courts can be questioned, constantly questioned by the layman because we believe that the government holds sway over the judicial office who was made that way? So this protest, this demand, this call, this fight, is not about individualism for me. It's a fight for national good. You want a situation where your judiciary can be considered truly independent. Yesterday, I suggested that the time has come for the formula for appointing justices and the Chancellor and Chief Justice in particular to change. No meeting between President and opposition leader. Take it to the National Assembly. Yesterday, some goon, clown, whatever you want to call that individual, called to tell me it wouldn't work. And I asked why it wouldn't work and what suggestions they had. Of course, they told me, well, I can't remember. Basically, I must be living in denial or something. But the reality is, as a society, we have to be willing to engage each other and engage our thought processes to come up with solutions to these problems. The current situation in the National Assembly is basically almost anything can be passed with a simple majority. But a matter of appointing the Chief Justice and the Chancellor, should we allow it to a simple majority? So if the PPP has the simple majority, they just vote who they want. And if the PNC or opposition coalition, whatever, has a simple majority, they vote whoever they want. Isn't there a better possibility? Yes, there certainly is. Because in some instances, the Constitution calls for a 2/3 majority of the House. And since the Chancellor and the Chief Justice are two important judicial officers, maybe we should turn to an amendment in the National Assembly that says, listen, the appointment of these officers must come before the National Assembly, and there must be a 2/3 majority in order to appoint either of the two. Isn't that a solution? The amendment of the Constitution in any which way should, quite frankly, because we live in a polarized society, and no government should by itself, no single party government should by itself have that authority, that free for all, to just wake up one morning, go into the National Assembly and say, we're going to change the law. We're going to change the land ownership law. We're going to change the way people claim ancestral property. We are going, no. Because these are actions that affect the national psyche. And so let us remove from the simple majority one vote more than the other side, and you could upturn the whole apple cart in this country. One vote from the other side, and the properties of African Guyanese can come under threat of government taking it away. And so you have a whole section of your society living in anxiety all the time, because here they just pass a bill that allows one man in the government to determine what my property is valued and take it away. Under the claim of eminent domain, because government wants to develop this or government wants to develop that. How is it? Where are the democratic practices where, whereas in this society, one minister or the cabinet even can determine that a secondary school, a primary school, an educational institution, a facility that was serving the public or serves the public good can be sold off. Without the blessing of the National Assembly. In a polarized society, why doesn't our Constitution offer protection against these I don't know, excesses of government, because that is what I see them as. Yes, Mr. Jordan, I recognize, I understand the appointment of CJ and Chancellor is made after agreement of the President and Leader of the Opposition. But I'm asking if that is enough. Is it enough for two men or two human beings to sit, have a talk, agree, and appoint people who are going to affect the lives of the citizens of this country? Why not the entire 65 members of the National Assembly? Those are all the people's representatives. Why not all of the people's representatives to make that decision? Why not? And so the question was asked yesterday on yesterday's program, why didn't the Granger administration appoint these people substantively? Because of just that, as far as I remember. Because of just that. The then opposition, the then leader of the opposition, did not agree with the then president for the appointment. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. So all the then president had was to appoint them acting, make them acting. Because he didn't get the concurrence, the agreement of the opposition leader at the time. But in this instance, the leader of the opposition has made it clear, he has made a public announcement that he supports the appointment of the current acting Chief Justice and Chancellor. But the president now doesn't support their appointment, apparently. So isn't this what we, I was about to call it what I will call it anyhow. This is bullshit. So if the opposition leader can't agree with the president and the president can't agree with the opposition leader, the country doesn't get substantive chancellor and chief justice. And that is why these people have been acting for forever. Let's flip the switch, like I said. Take it to the National Assembly and call for 2/3 vote. What is the likelihood that we will not get substantive chancellor and chief justice? For a country that is existence in modernity, in a modern era, I find a lot of our provisions backward and permitting backwardness. Right? Backwardness. One man could swipe a pen and upset the whole country. But with this consultation, leader of the opposition and president, people are emphasizing there must be agreement. Did the appointment of the kings call for agreement? Would the likely disagreement of the leader of the opposition to whoever the PPP wants to appoint chancellor and chief justice outside of these two women stop them from being appointed? Even if the PPP has to appoint them as acting, they will appoint them as acting because the Constitution never says that, my interpretation is that it didn't say that you must have agreement to appoint them as acting. So what happens? We push these two sisters away, these two female jurists away, and we choose two Indian rights nationalists, as I want to call them, and we say you're going to act. Because even if you're all acting, you're going to do our bidding. Where's the justice in that for the society? Don't talk to me. But they say evil tries when good men do nothing. Where are the good men in this society? Where are the good men in this society? Where is civil society? Where is the once buoyant guardians of democracy? Where are they? Huh? Where are the so-called guardians of democracy? You're not hearing their voices. Where are the champions of democracy? Where's the Ghana Bar Association? I mean, the jurists and so on, they can't protest in their name. They can't come out and speak against the government's behavior and so on. But doesn't the Bar Association have a responsibility to make pronouncements on these kind of things? Oh, I forget. Maybe the Bar Association is controlled, dominated, that is, by friends and cronies of the PPP. Y'all think there's the reason? What does the Guyana Bar Association look like? Huh? What does the Guyana Bar Association look like? Hola, doy. Hola, doy. Yeah, look at, listen. I wouldn't even, yeah, go check it for yourself. Go check it for yourself. Good. That's all I want to say. Go check it for yourself. Board representatives, Jamila Ali, Kamal Ramkaran, Kenny Usti, Kioma Griffith, Everton Singh Lami, K.A. Jaman Yassin, Kamal Ramkaran, Onassis Granville, Nigel Niles, Ramona Rukum, and Robin Stobie. That's these are board representatives. Good? Have you heard any of them? What are representing? I gotta ask. There's a question. Rules Committee, Council of Legal Education, Legal Aid Clinic, Juvenile Justice, Law Reform, National Task Force for Prevention of Sexual Violence, Constitutional Reform, Save Committee for Forced Legal Conference. Listen, the question is, have you heard any of these people make any pronouncement? On the injustices that are being meted out to these female jurists and the injustices that are being meted out to the Guyanese people? Huh? I want to know. When I come here in the morning, I don't think I got all the answers, you know. I come seeking answers like most of them. But I have the gall, the gumption, the temerity to ask the questions. What some people might consider hard questions. I'm not afraid. Because we're family, you have one thing. Y'all know I'm going to court in 2 days' time. Yeah, I got a matter in 2 days' time. I am going to court in 2 days' time. But y'all think you can stop me from questioning the independence of the judiciary, questioning the freedom of the judiciary to do the work? Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. Can you consider Lady Justice blind? Well, as an accused, the complainant turns up. And see, for example, the jurors that has to preside over the particular complaint having a half-hour chat with the complainant. Where is there any comfort? In that? Do you believe that a jurist can be unbiased in a situation like that? Familial relationship, if I can call it that, with a compliment, and you having a good long open gap, if I can call it that, in the eyes of the public and everybody for half hour, and then you have to go and preside over that particular matter. But and you wanted the Bar Association and complain about it. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of spinelessness in this society. A whole lot of spinelessness. You have lawyers who will tell you that they will not file a complaint against a judge, even if the client demands. Because they're afraid that the next time they have to appear before that judge or magistrate, or even a public official, a permanent secretary, a head teacher says, they're afraid of the consequences they will have to face, namely victimization. How then do you get a society that thrives on law and order? If the people who are supposed to stand in defense of law and order are afraid to challenge the status quo to ensure law and order is the order of the day, how do you get a society that is law-abiding? It's like everybody out there just hustling. Listen, I just want to make my money, and I want to make my money with the least possible stress. And so anything that's going to stress me out, I will try to avoid while making my money. I'm not challenging the impartiality of any jurist, any judicial officer, any senior public servant, because I know at some point in time I gotta go before them again. And they might be wicked and vindictive to me. As a matter of fact, it was said that Basil Williams has suffered a lot of indignity before a particular senior jurist because he dared to be brazen at an earlier time to that particular person. And so every time he went there, they ruled against him. If there's any truth in that, should people have a recourse? Shouldn't they be able to turn to a Judicial Service Commission that is impartial, and will take the necessary actions? But people are afraid to go to the lengths because what? They know even the Judicial Service Commission and this Police Service Commission and this commission and that commission, they're just there on paper. Like the Natural Resource Management Committee, Resource Investment Committee, whatever they call it, that Terence Campbell is or was a member on. And these things are not fictitious, because if you see what they're doing with Terence Campbell, and because he dared to speak out against the way the committee functions as a rubber stamp for the government, they're going at him tooth and nail. That is what people are afraid of. But this is allowed to happen because citizens are not coming out in defense of those who are coming out in defense of them. How many members of civil society have stood in defense of Terence Campbell? How many? The guardians of democracy, you hear them say anything? The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, Bobby's Chamber of Commerce, the Tem Chamber of Commerce, all them chambers of commerce, they're the big business people. You hear them say anything? No. They don't come out and say nothing because why? They're afraid that if they come out and say anything, the government can start giving them all the concessions that make them richer by the day. The members. Is it good enough to just rely on the next election? Oh, election coming, we're going to get the opportunity to vote them out. Vote who out? Vote. If you're not even fighting, in large numbers to ensure that you get a free, fair, and credible elections, you get clean voters listened by metrics and so on to prevent the electoral fraud and stuff. Or you're going to vote them out. Do you know, even as we speak, there are lots of skullduggery, jiggery pokery, bangarang and potter taking place. Do you know GCOM has a claims and objection period running right now? and registration and so on? Do you know that GCOM registration officials, instead of following the rules and ensuring that people are registered in the districts where they belong, are allowing people to register outside of their districts and are making up addresses to them? Do you know that? Well, I'm telling you, it's happening. It's happening. But are you standing and saying, hey, this nonsense can't happen? If somebody got registered Buxton, they got registered Buxton, how you going to make up a Judicial address and give them for registering Judicial? That alone is fraud. And so if you start from a basis of fraud, then we ending up with a fraudulent election. People believe that elections are stolen on elections day. They're stolen long before. And the PPP is well advanced in stealing elections. And so unless people are prepared to go out there and do as is necessary, don't tell me about no free, fair, and credible election in this country. Don't tell me that by the mere vote, you're going to get rid of the PPP. You got to do more than that. First and foremost, opposition supporters got to turn out in the numbers 90%, 95%, 99% supporting the coalition, the opposition. Secondly, there needs to be serious vigilance at the polling stations. And serious vigilance leading up to the election. But y'all think it's good enough just to sit down and say, elections come, you're going to vote against them. If I believe that alone could remove the PPP from government, I was going to be doing something that will earn me some money outside in the yard today. I would already start cooking in the kitchen to sell some lunch today. But I recognize cooking in the kitchen and selling lunch alone can't change Ghana, and I want a different Ghana. I recognize voting alone can't change Ghana, and I want a different Ghana. That is why I invest the time here daily to highlight the issues and to encourage you to interrogate them and to get involved in fighting for change. Juliana Thomas is going to be out here today again. This time in front of the High Court, between that Charlotte, between King and Avenue of the Republic. Come now. Lunchtime. Lunchtime belongs to you, you know. Take 15 minutes from your lunchtime and just go and stand up as a passerby or something. A bystander. Just go stand up. You're afraid that they're going to get photographed with you with a poster, which is your right to do. Just go and stand up. Mill around. They can't tell you that you ain't got the right to walk the streets of Georgetown. But so many of us have given up our freedom. We've given the PPP so much authority over our lives. That imagine you're afraid to go and join a protest during lunchtime. Huh? We're afraid to join a protest on the weekend when we're working for the government. All we want is changes that we want, man. Huh? 90 minutes past 8 o'clock already, lines are open. Call and let's talk the thing. I want to hear your ideas. Because I don't have the answers to all of these questions which I'm asking this morning. Yeah, share with me. I got a voice note. Let me see what the one's saying. So somebody has sent me a message to say that the Minister of Agriculture allegedly has fired somebody from the ministry, because he accuses that person of leaking information to Melly Mel to expose this corruption. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of dictatorship. This is the kind of dictatorship that we allow. There is supposed to be a whistleblower protection act in this country, you know. Is any lawyer going to take the case of that young man and fight the government, fight Zulfikar, because it is his right, assuming he did, to blow the whistle on a corrupt criminal in the seat of government? I guess not. Call your life.
Yes, good morning to you and all my Black brothers and sisters in Guyana. Apology, I will be late, as usual. I have a little piece of song, if I may say it, a little piece, because that is what would base off my message this morning towards my Black brother and sister, if I may. And the song goes like this. Come home. Come home, ye who are weary, come home. Jesus is calling, calling for sinners, come home. My Black brothers and sisters, this morning, Flat God, we want you guys to know, God is saying to Black people, come on back to your two-party, PNC and WPA. Come on back. It's a reason why, physically and spiritually, it's a reason why God leave that problem with us, that voice with us, the story with the prodigal son. If God didn't want us to know that problem, He would have removed it, or He would have never mentioned it. Remember the prodigal son, that who said, Father, I cannot wait anymore until you die. Give me what belongs to me. Let me go. And the father listened to his son. The boy wasn't bad or criminal. He had put gun to his father. He had beat his father or nothing. But the other brother was covetous like Jack Joe and the wicked. According to them, greedy, long-hearted, evil. And the boy went away and wasted on, yes. But when he acknowledged what he did, my God, why hast thou forsaken us out? But nevertheless, Black people will get victory to the end. When the brother realized what he did was wrong, he said, wait, servant in my father's house eating bread and I outside the air, eating quick food? No, I will arise. And we turned back home and said, Father, I've sinned before thee and thou. The father tell the same wicked brother, like John, you're them wicked police supporters there. Go, let keep a feast. Let everybody eat and drink. John, you're the one, the long one, eat and drink. And the little brother get mad. Daddy, you doing all these things with him? The father said, you dead. If I dead, you get everything. God wants Black people to come together and stop all your nonsense. Oh, stop sitting down and waiting for what? It's a reason why God wants we to read King James voice and know that one of our five senses is our hands, that what will take us out of poverty and punishment. Hello?
They're here.
We got to use our hands, use all of our five senses. Remember what little David do for stop that big strong mouth and wrath and punish people in the village. Remember what a guy prayed on God for Samson because of what the wicked people did to Eve and encouraged Delilah for did to him too. God was with him. God bless him what he asked for, and Black people sit down and wait for him. For what? What God did Flash Garden, God killed Pharaoh, I'm telling you the word of God now. You preach this man for your program. God killed Pharaoh's son because God was talking and talking to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh refused to stop his punishment, refused to punish God people, and God had enough of it. That made God kill Pharaoh's son. God killed those servant firstborn son who was carrying out the pact to Pharaoh. That is when Pharaoh decided to let God people go. It is time for black people read King James Version and stop sitting and wait upon program. Mr. Amsterdam said, go in kitchen and cook. Will that solve the problem? Dead people cannot spend $100,000. But these people wouldn't even get strength for work and go for putting $100,000. But God will give you strength to go outside there and stop it so you guys could enjoy your $100,000. Look what Judicial did to them teachers. He take back revenge for them teachers because the teachers strike on him. He give teachers money Christmas Eve and look, we see on video at them boys who were original with them put them boys say enjoy Christmas, and black man can enjoy Christmas. But some of them fat cat leaders. One more thing before we go quick. You see this brother here, Pastor London, Bombay's Adinatu. When Adinatu go and sit down with that lady, ex-ambassador, Flavor Lynch, he said, oh, some things Adinatu go and sit down with Sheridan, Adinatu get served. The Bombay's Adinatu again. When he said, oh, he be expect Adinatu to go outside there and represent Mel, mother and grandmother. He said, okay, Adinatu do it because Mel come against him. But over the weekend, he said, he take Ali Ann, and I believe the next guy on with Ali. No, this is Pastor London. Say Ali, and then we excuse, oh, well, he's not PNC. So we could shake anybody on. But these are the guys that come and tell me what the wicked call them. And now it is alleged he getting contract to build road from Ali. My God, come on, go tell the rest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your call. As I say, you know, I will repeat what I say, but I will also make a disclaimer. I said the cheapest thing to buy or sell in this country is the black man. But not the same. What I find in this society is that a lot of people make a lot of noise until they get a chance to play. Right? You know, it's like them children, you go and you see a child with a toy and you try to get to play with it and you get to play with it. Keep your stinking truck, me wonder. The thing big and stink and dirty and all that. I mean, they say, come play with the truck. He said, it's a nice truck. I like how it's sung, I like how it look. Right? Everybody got eat the food, is what they say. A lot of people make a lot of noise until they get the food to eat. I don't care, I will always say it. I'm a registered business, service-oriented, construction-oriented, since now was about, I think, 2003, since back then or something around then. And because of my activism, I refuse to even tender for any job under the PPP. Y'all call me stupid. Y'all call me economically, financially, economically nonsensical. You know what? Mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. You pay the piper, calls the tune. I don't care how impartial they claim to be, the PPP will control you with contracts, they will control you with money, they will control you with so many things. Like it or not. But how am I going to follow the line? How am I going to be championing the cause against these people for 4 years? And when it comes to the fifth one coming down to critical period, election time, when I'm supposed to step in up the heat, I shaking somebody hand and talking, but I'm not this or I'm not that, and don't contract for who? I got a price. Call your life.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, everyone in Guyanese diaspora. Good morning to all Guyanese. And Happy New Year to one and all. Yes, Mr. Amsterdam, he who pays calls. And that's why we have constitutional measures, checks and balances. You know, in 2020, Paul Slope, sitting as on the Police Service Commission, together with Mr. Conway, etc., they were removed. And they're a constitutional body. So the Constitution was under attack. That case was made that the executive branch, the office of the so-called president, were attacking the Constitution. Then they had Jack Deere and Alan Nandalal attack the Constitution again and attacked the judiciary this time. The judiciary. In the case of the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, with ExxonMobil, and they were basically threatening the judges for their decisions. So again, we have the executive branch threatening the Constitution and threatening the judiciary. And no wonder why it is that they don't appoint these justices. It's because they want to have the freedom, as you pointed out, to hold a threat over the heads of these justices, to hold them in a type of duress purgatory, whereby they always have to think about the decisions that they're making. But that's why the Constitution has these particular safeguards. So I want to suggest something to the young lady who was on your show yesterday, and she was in front of the appeals court yesterday as well. I think her name is Miss Thomas. She was standing next door, next to Member of Parliament, Salvador. What I think sister needs to consider is that the government needs to be taken to the court. Not so much the PPP, not so much APNU. Because when APNU was in there, they didn't do it. And when the PPP was in there for the last 23, 26 years, they didn't do it either. So what do we realize? That it's not the party. If we focus this thing, and I'm saying to Comrade Norton as the opposition leadership, Nigel Hughes, and Comrade Ramsey-Tanner, and Raphael Trotman as well. These are lawyers. That we shouldn't focus on the party in this singular instance. We should focus on the government. Take the government to court. We have the evidences. I just pointed out some. There are several others. Where the executive branch, the government, see, the PPP are not the government of Bayern. We're making that mistake. Can you hear me, Mr. Amsterdam?
Yes.
The PPP are or is not the government. The government is consisting of the executive branch, the judiciary, and the National Assembly. When the PPP comes out of office, the government still exists. When APNU is in office and they come out, the government still exists. Who is the one that is responsible for appointing the justices? It is the government apparatus that has to do that. So we go to the court because opposition leaders said they would like to go to the court on these issues. That's why Ms. Thomas is in front of the court appealing to the courts. So take the government proper to the international court or whatever court you want to start with Guyana. I'm pretty sure you'll find sympathetic justices that will support protecting their own, as well as protecting the Constitution. So I want you to see, Mr. Amsterdam, I want Ms. Thomas to see that the best place to go and the evidence support that the government is weaponizing against the Constitution. How so? Because anytime you have a government that knows that the Constitution says that justices must be appointed, then it could be that they are held in purgatory indefinitely. Because if an indefinite acting capacity was intended to be indefinite, then there would not be substantive. So the fact that a person has a particular expectancy based upon their qualification after 7 years, it's unreasonable not to promote 2 justices. Persons can say, well, this is just a one-off. It can't be a one-off because it's been happening for 20 years. So how can an executive branch deny the Constitution from exercising its intent? The intent was to promote. The intent was for them to realize that position. That's the constitutional intent. Now, the executive branch cannot be overreaching to deny the Constitution its intent. So, we have here, for the last 28 years, the executive branch has been minimizing, restricting, denying the Constitution. And that cannot be allowed to stand because the law says no branch of government can be functioning indefinitely to oppose another branch of government and say that they are satisfying the Constitution. That violates separation of powers. There's a doctrine in the law, Constitution, that says separation of powers. What we have is executive branch, the office of the president, violating the separation of powers at the detriment of the Constitution. Justice Young, 2 years ago, pointed to that. Now, lastly, Mr. Amsterdam, you raised the point, and I'm going to touch on that as well. We can alternatively go and ask for judicial review, or we can alternatively say in the review that Justice Young's point that the language is insufficient, the apparatus of the language that says we must appoint. Well, when is a timeline? There needs to be a definitive and a concise timeline, 3 weeks, 3 months, possibly, for example, whereby these commissions, Paul Slow and other the police service commissions, all these constitutional commissions have been weaponized or been denied. So the denial by the executive branch follows a systematic scheme. It's not a one-time denial. They have been denying ever since they've been there. So the PPP, for example, but the government, more pointedly, has been denying the Constitution systematically. How do we stop that? By an amendment in the Constitution, as you pointed out. Now, that is evident. That is very recognizable at this point. It's blatant. And I think the courts will go for it. Now, the opposition leader has been saying maybe they're looking at it, but I have looked at it, and I'm not a lawyer. So you've got all these senior counsels around the place, as you pointed out, the Bar Association, and they aren't doing anything about it. So the people, we the people. So, Ms. Thomas, I may recommend, I may suggest, I can't tell you what to do, but as a private citizen, the people you have in front of the court can sign a petition, firstly, and then you can take civil action, Ms. Thomas, combined, collectively, and take the issue to court on behalf of the Guyanese people. See, that's a solution right there. That's already your solution, Ms. Thomas. And I say our solution. Now, we don't have to wait on the political party to do that stuff. We collectively can do that with your lead, as you have already demonstrated in front of the court. Once again, Ms. Thomas, good luck. You've got our support. Thank you for taking my call, Mr. Amsterdam.
Thank you for your call.
Morning, Brother Kidaki. Good morning, Guyanese. Happy New Year.
Call you on.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. How are you this morning? On the topic of Zulfikar Mustafa that fired the guy, or the person, that person will get the job back. If you can remember when Tabitha Sarabu Hali fired those persons from the...
All right thinking Guyanese, especially our real African brothers and sisters. Gentlemen, let me do the comparison. This Chief Justice and Chancellor of the Judicial. If y'all can recall that the Chief Justice, remember she was in bed with the PPP. I want to know how as a sudden these people can confirm this woman especially. There gotta be something happen. There gotta be the woman realize what happened with this installed government when they was installed in power. When she really think back that this thing that she done to Guyanese people with the 5 years or the 4 years that these people install in governments. You understand me? I think that there's something is the reason make this installed president 19 for a charge can't confirm this to extinguish African woman, brilliant African woman, because they are black. That is the old fact, and you can't get them through black woman, especially the Chancellor of the Judiciary, especially her. They can't get to do the nasty work for this coming election. That's what they're trying to get you to them. But let me tell you something. This PPP wants this country to be an Indian state. Must only have Indian people up top there that they can agree with them. Because skullduggery, you look at most of this skullduggery that's going on in Guyana. It's Indian people. They are the biggest of everything in this country. That's why I tell you, Indian people, God is money, plenty money. I told y'all that. These people looking after money. If you looking after money and nothing else, you're able to study and debt. All these people are so hungry and vicious so money in this country. But all the wealthy ones, they're saying not with all that this government doing. All that this government doing to people in this country, especially our African brothers and sisters. See, they are point against because they are point against. They ever continue to do that dirty work for election. They will never find them to extinguish African women. They will never find them. They're going to try to get two Indian person to put there. You watch. I have in Indian and the black. And the black what they're going to put there. It will be like a puppet on the string for these PPP governments. These people want you to hit the street. The street is the place to go. This is election year. The only way we can get things in order and get things put in place, we have to hit the road. Because these people don't care. These people are evil. These people are very wicked set of people that we have mashing up our country. These people pass dictatorship. These people pass undemocratic. We got to get the next word for these people. And next word, we got to get to the people undemocratic song too nice for these people, too wonderful for these people. We got to get our next word, one of the most dangerous words we ever find for these people, boss. These people don't have no regard for Guyanese people, no regard to whatsoever Guyanese. Guyanese, let me look at it for the past 4 years. They're going into 5 years now, and these people don't have no turning back. These people get more vicious on us. Instead of talking about the next cash grant, yeah? The people them don't got no time with Guyanese. This is election gimmicks, Guyanese. Election gimmicks. Election gimmicks. These people don't believe in giving Guyanese money. You have to work for this money in this country. People have we got to work for it before we get it. Come on, Guyanese people, let me wake up, man. Wake up. Wake up. It's 2020.
Hello. Good morning. Morning. How are you doing? Morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is now 7 hours 40. That is 20 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. I'm very deliberate this morning. This is not late. How you been? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. How have you been? How was it yesterday? How was your last night? How you feeling this morning? Which side of the bed you wake up on? You know, Guyanese got a way of saying, depending on the side of the bed you wake up on, you're going to behave in a certain way. Right? Depending on which side of the bed you awake, you'll behave in a certain way. Well, I guess well, there's only one side of my bed I awake every day, like it or not. You know, we Guyanese in most cases, we can't afford these, as we said, these big luxurious sprawling mansions and so on, you know. It was saying we can't afford them things though. So in most cases, we could only come out with bed one side. Well, I know some people homes are like some people's bedroom. You know what I mean? When you look around this place and you see the sprawling mansions that ministers and members of the PPP government are building around this country, compared to the ordinary citizens' homes, I don't know. You can't be anything else, but I don't know if it's amazed or amused, because many of our homes could fit in them mother's mansion, or in some instances, the one in the mother bedroom, maybe the master bedroom. So many of us only have the option of coming off one side of our bed. While for some people, they can come off all sides, all 4 sides of the bed, because they got this sprawling room with jacuzzi and, you know, and so on, pool and all kind of thing, man. Some of them bought a pool houses bigger than we entire home. Good. So usually when I ask you what side of the bed you come off from, I would rather suspect it's the same bed, the same side you come off from yesterday, they coming out from today. Good. Many of us still can't aspire my dream, but many of us still don't see the reality or how it is going to be humanly possible, maybe in our lifetime, to have comfortable homes, to have individual bedrooms for our children, to have inside washrooms. And I'm being very serious. Many of us can't. We could dream of those things. Aspire might be a strong word. Anticipate that we can do it in our lifetime. you know. Audrey Brown, I'm not sure they don't sleep in the nights. But you know what is fascinating for me? Take a look back at what these people were or how they lived a few mornings prior to being in government. Take a look. Some of them live with what are doing? Some of them live with the in-laws. They also, I said some of them live with the in-laws. Some of them did beg and lodging at the in-laws. They couldn't talk hard. Some of them lived like us, ordinary citizens. In with 2x2, with 20x20 and stuff like that. But within 3 or 4 years, and I'm being generous here because many of them achieve these things within, as we like to say, overnight. Them Bananga sprawling mansions and now one, 2 and 3 and 4, and they build for their sweet month, and they build for their lovers too, and they build for their gigolos. So if you think it's only the male ministers and members of the government and so on that misbehaving with taxpayers' money, think again. We got certain confusion in left and go foreign for marriage with taxpayers' money. What are doing? So when we are asking what side of the bed you come out for, we know to ourselves it's almost a rhetorical question. Every citizen can come out for those 2 or 3 sides of bed. One side they could come out for because the bed you have raised the bedroom wall in order for you to get walking space in some instances. That's the quality of life Guyanese have become accustomed. This is the quality of life Guyanese apparently are, what is the word? Relegated to. The ordinary citizen. One would believe that as our budgets get bigger, as our economy gets bigger, as our income gets larger, I'm talking national income and so on, the citizens would start to see light on the horizon, start to see opportunities for improving their lives. But that is not to be. That is not to be. Imagine in this day and age, a citizen has to make a personal appeal to the head of state. You know what I'm saying? To the head of state. Right? Goodness. To the head of state for assistance. When there is a Ministry of Social Protection, when there is a Ministry of Social Protection, a citizen still has to make a personal appeal to the head of state on a so-called outreach in a community. Look at this. Compliments a Big Smith. Look at the head. in tears to the president. Prasad is an amputee. He worked at Gaisuku and Mo Estate for 15 years. Lost his legs because of diabetes. And was promised by the Ballet tyrant at some point in time assistance. I think what he was asking for is a tricycle. I interpret that to mean them three-wheel things that Roshan kind of started bringing into the country because he's a coconut vendor. He wants something to transport, you know, his stock and self. Imagine in this day and age, where's the Commission for Disability? Or whatever that commission is called. I understand they shut it down pending further notice. Pending further notice. I saw another post last evening with Mohammed, Azruddin Mohammed in Mocha, visiting a young lady who has 2 male children, 2 sons, 2 bison, and promising her that he's going to construct a home for her. And listening to her, she has made several approaches to the government, Ministry of Social Services and Prime Minister's office, and so on and so forth. Because she suffers, I think, from paralysis as a result of an accident that she had. And so the question is, in a land of plenty, why is it our citizens are relegated to live in these extreme poverty conditions? And ministers of government who are supposed to be just managers of the nation's resources are continuously building sprawling mansions, apartment buildings for themselves, friends, family, and favorite. Isn't something wrong with a society that operates like that? Isn't something wrong when the little black boys and girls of the society are granted a token contract to clean parapets and trenches and drains? And their Indian counterparts, as we said, go match age group, and so on, are given multi-billion, multi-million dollar contracts to build roads and schools and other expensive infrastructure. Isn't it wrong? Something doesn't tick in our mind and say, this isn't right, this isn't look right. Isn't it wrong when, in a time of plenty, our roads are becoming smaller? You know, this country got a great joke. Ghana could never be a real place like some people say. In Buxton Company Road, for example, we were accustomed to a road, in the villages in general, we were accustomed to roads where 2 vehicles can pass comfortably without having to run anyone over on the parapet. This don't get anything got resources, man. This don't really have access to the kind of money we have now. But now we have access to money, lots of money, coming in as revenue from oil production and so on. Plus, we're borrowing from the international financial institutions, lots of money. But our infrastructure is becoming smaller. Yeah, make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. Yeah, really make it make sense to me. Take, for example, I'm going to use Buxton a lot this morning. The Buxton post office had a structure there that was two flats. You had the post office at the bottom and living quarters above for the postmaster or mistress and so on. You had two flats. Sprawling building, man. I would say minimum 30 feet by 25 or minimum. I'm just trying to picture what the building looked like. Sprawling structure. In the time of plenty, when the post office was renovated, that sprawling structure was demolished and a one flat, a flat building, a ground level building, about half the size or less. I'm almost sure it's about almost less. Let me say half the size was constructed. Right? One would believe that even if you were doing, let's say, a flat building, then you would build a building with such a design that visitors to the post office can have comfortable seating, for example, inside the post office building, like a waiting area. No. You get a flat building, half the original size, perhaps, of what was there, and a shed. A shed. Even if you're under the shed and it rains, the elements will affect you. Do they have permanent, comfortable seating under the shed? No. In a time of plenty. Talk about the roads. In a time of plenty, we could have driven in this community comfortably on our roads. Two vehicles, like I said, would pass side by side without having to run anybody off the parapet. Now in a time of plenty, for two vehicles to use the road, one has to divert to the parapet. One has to divert to the parapet. The pedestrian can make his or her way closer to the edge of the parapet, closer to the trench or gutter or whatever, for their own safety. Now we have a situation on the company road. And this situation is particularly interesting because, again, they say swines don't think, and these people got to be worse than swine. The Buxton market, or what is left of it, structure-wise, is at the junction of the railway line and company road on the southern side. The health center is immediately after the Buxton market. So one would believe that company road there is a major thoroughfare because you get access to the market, you get access to the healthcare facility there. Neighborhood Democratic Council office is right there too. Now, any goat Any goat could think that if you have a healthcare facility, naturally ambulatory services will have to utilize the road. Emergency vehicles will have to utilize the road. Patients being transported by private transport will have to utilize the road. The healthcare workers themselves may have a motor vehicle that they have to go to work with. And so you would cater for a road that can accommodate all of that kind of traffic. You know what these folks have done? I will go there maybe tomorrow sometime and show you. So they say seeing is believing. Company Road, which used to be wide enough to accommodate two vehicles side by side, and parking on the parapets, is now a strip, one concrete strip. Two vehicles can't pass side by side. Two vehicles cannot pass side by side. So let me paint a picture for you. Imagine an emergency situation where an ambulance has to come to the health center to collect the patient, to take them for the treatment at Georgetown or any other hospital. Imagine a situation where an ambulance has to come to that health center. Imagine patients turning up in the motor transport. Imagine villagers utilizing company road to get to or from wherever they want to go. Are you seeing what is happening there? Congestion, inadequate space for the emergency vehicle to maneuver. How does the ambulance turn on a narrow strip of road? In a rush, let's say, because emergency vehicles usually appear to be in a rush. You have to move with alacrity. But nobody has considered that. They haven't considered the main purpose for that road or the services which are available down that road. They just thought that, listen, we are going to reduce the width of the company road and give them a concrete strip so that they can drive in and out of the village. But as ministers of government, we are going to build sprawling mansions, and our driveways are going to be wider than many of the strips that we're building in communities. Isn't something wrong with a mentality like that? But I guess people are not seeing these things, or people are turning a blind eye to these things. You remember maybe a year ago when they decided that they were going to give 25 Buxtonian contractors 25 bridges to do? After Camps TV, along with others, were hosting the days of protest and highlighting these issues? Remember when they say, all right, we're going into Buxton, we don't have a problem with Buxton, we're going to get 25 contractors, 25 bridges that value in total less than half of what we give one Indo-Guyanese contractor to build a road at Coven John. $200 million, I think that road took. Y'all remember that? I drew to your attention the fact that they were building, I think it's 14 feet. I'm being generous, I think. 14 feet wide road or concrete strip into sideline dam. Yes. Every day I see the magic that people have to do to go opposite sides on sideline dam. I share with you the experience of my vehicle being parked down to the edge of that strip, and at the time of fire tender coming in to outer brush fire, and they couldn't pass. They had to wake me out of my sleep. to remove my vehicle so that they could pass. Imagine a situation where a vehicle is parked there and the owners are nowhere close. What will happen? They're going to leave the vehicle bodily off the road, or off the edge of the road, or they will have to make a detour. Valuable time is lost. Assets are destroyed. I just want you to imagine these things. But remember, I told you that they were building a 4-foot bridge across the sideline trench into the Buxton burial ground, or Buxton Cemetery. And I objected. I said to the engineer at the time, this doesn't make sense. You can't build a 4-foot bridge as the entrance into the burial ground. 4 persons can't fetch a casket across a 4-foot bridge. The excuse then is that they didn't realize that the bridge was leading into the burial ground. They thought it was just a walk path. And I said there and then, even if it is a walk path, don't you have vision? Can't you envisage that walk path being paved in the future so that the horse could at least drive over the bridge and the people take out the dead? Or even the people who are using the walk path get something solid to walk on? The engineer at the time said, all right, I'm going to see what could happen, but we don't do estimates and so on and so forth. The bridge was finished at 5 feet. 5 feet. 4 people still can't fetch a casket across 5 feet. It's a difficult task, it's a risky task. But I guess because they didn't really change the material. The budgeted amount of material and so on, they didn't really change that. I guess they might have used the contingency fee. There's usually a miscellaneous there that they use and buy a couple more or something, but they ended up with a 5-foot bridge. And that's because the engineer, in my mind, didn't feel brave enough, let me call it brave, or competent enough to go back to the chief engineer or the engineering department to say, listen, we made a mistake here. Our information shows that, or we are learning that this thing is more than a walk path. And so it doesn't make sense building a 4-foot bridge. We have to build a bigger bridge. No. To do that is going to, you're going to get ridiculed by your seniors. And even chastised. But if they had done a feasibility study, if they had spoken to people in the neighborhood, they would have known that they had to cater for a bridge that is bigger than 4 feet. So here it is, they built this 5-foot bridge. Guess what happened? They're building these concrete strips. They're building these concrete strips. And so that which they thought was a walk path now is being paved in concrete. It is going to be paved that I understand originally it should have been 10 feet, but I understand for some reason it is now about 8 feet. So even if they're building it at 8 feet, you're now building a concrete strip. I ain't calling it any different. There's no street, there's no road as far as I'm concerned. They're building this concrete strip at 8 feet wide, but the entrance to it is a 5-foot bridge. Y'all make it make sense. Huh? Make it make sense. Y'all make it make sense. Do you see vision for improving people's lives? Or you see in a time of plenty, everything is becoming smaller. They're giving the citizenry less, and they're building sprawling mansions and pool houses and stuff like that. But you know what bothers me in all of what I'm describing? Citizens who are comfortable with this situation and saying we get I saw Buxtonian as part of the PPP propaganda the other day saying about 90% of the roads in Buxton have been completed, so there is just about 10% to be done. I challenge that particular idiot. To show how the completion of this 90% of roads in Buxton has improved the quality of life and livelihood in Buxton. Because all I see when I look around are concrete strips that are causing people to lose their temper. Because when you and I pull up in the same neighborhood, same area on the concrete strip where we can't pull off on the road, or both of us are driving shine cars, and we come from nothing to something, and we want mud touch the rims. Like witness the other day, both of us will park in the middle of the road and look at each other. One of us might even turn off the engine. And so those are recipes for road rage. Do we think about that? Do we consider do we consider the fact that, well, Shelley Douglas, I'm waiting for them to declare and mark them one way, so we don't know what is one way and what is not one way, but right now they're both ways. Right? And you know, I am a person who likes to do comparisons, and I'll tell you something. Just over at Annandale, there is a tiny street, at least I call it a tiny street, that leads, I think they call it the Martian, to the Annandale Primary and Nursery School from the seaside. You have to go through one of the cross streets. If you swing off of Sideline Dam, you go west, you turn left into one of the cross streets, and then you make a right into the street that leads to the Annandale School. Primary and Nursery School. That place is so narrow. Or was so narrow that in order to turn into that street, you have to make a 3-corner turn perhaps. You turn, you stop, you reverse, you turn, you know, you inch away to make that turn and you go in there. You know what they did? Recently they did that street. They used the original width of the street. Then they imposed, or what we like to say, they did a revetment of the drain. And they put removable concrete covers on them. So that street is now widened. They get to turn easier. People using the street can walk in safety. They ain't got to jump out the way no more. But in Buxton, where the space is available and was always available to accommodate larger roads, they reduce them when they put concrete strip. And we got Buxtonians drinking the PPP soup and telling us that thereby them aren't doing things to me. They're giving me a couple gutter contracts and they're giving me strips, concrete strips. I am smiling because I remember right at the back of me, east of me here, there's a street that comes from the public road, and it's supposed to go all the way from the railway line. So with the same Mamapipi Street, if you call it, south of the railway line, it's supposed to come all the way through to the north here. All streets are like that in this community. That one is interrupted by the burial ground. For some reason or other, people bury their dead in the part of the street and stuff. And nobody has the gumption to just remove the dead, put them somewhere else and continue the street to connect to the other section. But it's not a discussion right now. But in that street between the public road and the burial ground here, you got some PPP supporters. Yeah, they got some PPP supporters. The time they come and complain to me about equality of the street. Well, it was my opinion that they could have talked to Jaggi or other than because they got connection to Freedom House. Good. But that's concrete strip now. If those people park, which they do, their car on that concrete strip, nothing could pass there, you know. Nothing could pass to come further north. Now I have a concern with that because if I want to access my yard from my back gate, naturally that is the street I will have to come through and turn right? Let me see. Turn left. Yeah, turn left. To come into the same 8 feet strip that they're building to access my back gate. Can you imagine the amount of anger and anxiety and stress that people are going to encounter in that street? Because imagine traveling from the public road and coming all the way up to realize, oh goodness, these people got a car parked in front and you can't park. Huh? Like I experienced the other day, I'm going to have to stop and blow for 5 and 10 minutes to get people to move the vehicle, and they might not move, and then I might just post them up on Facebook. And then we're going to create another rage that they're going to fix. Is not what is happening around our community. We are getting, the government is doing less and less with more and more resources for the people of this country. But it don't stop the lash of heads. The get rich quick or die trying gang. I sing in their praises because they got a contract. But there's something I want to ask. Has anybody been checking to see if these gutter contractors are paying NIS for the people they employ? Or if the GRA? I don't want to put anybody in problem, right? But I want to point this out to the people who are working with these gutter contracts. If every year you get a gutter contract, or you work on a gutter contract, every month you work on a gutter contract and NIS is not paid for you, your time is going, bro. Your time is going, sis. Because you're getting older and your contributions are not being made. So that you could get a, if you want to call it a nest egg when you get old like me. But they see that the daily also. Right? Hey, the man paying $10,000 a day, let me go work. And when you don't work, you get your $10,000 cash in your blam. You could go and get a little more Mali and a little more sugar and and where the good ganja weed and wherever else. And a nice time about the henny perhaps, right? But in the long term, how is this, like the 10-day workers, how is this short-term arrangement benefiting us as the people? Our youngsters were saying, hey, them are doing something for you, but I think we have to start having these conversations around our tables, as I always recommend. Let us ask our young people about that. All right, you might working with a gutter contractor that doesn't pay NIS and so on. Have we advised our young people that they can register with NIS and they can pay their own NIS as a self-employed person? Have we given them that guidance? We have to look out for our own, you know. We gotta look out for these youngsters. I mean, they don't always listen, they believe they know it all. But when we have their ear, we have to whisper things in their ears and help them to understand that what is happening here is that they're being set up to remain at the bottom of the social ladder. Once elections come and it's finished with, a lot of these water contracts will very well disappear. A lot of these very youths will be out there with nothing to do. And they will be on the breadline until it approaches another election. Hannah Mohammed, the contractor is supposed to pay a portion of the NIS. I can't remember if NIS is 13% now. But if it is 13%, one pays 7.8. When it was 12, one used to pay 7.5 and the other pay 4.5, I think. And then it was changed to 7.8 and 5.8 or something. I can't remember the exact numbers. Let me don't quote them. Right, but the employee, a deduction is usually made from the employee, and the employer pays the other percentage, which is usually higher than the employee pays. But in this day and age, I can imagine Lash saying they want nobody take out money from me, money for peanut. Giving me money, why? That's why I want to do them go to work, because as soon as I don't work, you don't give me money. Right? These are conversations that we have to have, because they're going to have future implications for us. But not many of us have these conversations because we got interest to protect. Good. I see Dennis saying that he heard 7.5 is the employers and 8.5, which means it's 16% now, right? Right. Good. Dennis is saying she heard that opposition parliamentarians are getting contracts, but no names are being called. Listen, that's flogging at their ass. It always existed. And that's why you get the poor-ass kind of representation that you get. Because a lot of our politicians are in bed with each other. A lot of our politicians are in bed with each other. I used to laugh. I can't remember what the configuration was, but I know that in the early, let me say in the time of Robert Corbyn being leader of the PNC, there was a particular PNC man, leading PNC man, who was involved in a gold mining business with a leading PPP man. They had their offices in Kingston area. They are going to research that and see. And so, how do we get legislation that holds people accountable for certain behavior when they are all in the same business? This is why Kidaki Amsterdam will forever remain, quote unquote, the upstart he is, because I ain't going in bed with nobody. I got me businesses. I got my side hustles or my main hustles, whatever you want to call them. The things I do to provide for myself and family financially. And I believe I have a heart of contentment. And so the little that I can earn from these things that I do, I content myself with them, recognizing that this is the reality of my existence. I'm not going to sell my people. I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not going to sell my integrity for better. Or can we say the same of all of our parliamentarians and politicians? No. A lot of people get into politics because they see it as their way of getting rich quick. They want to die trying. Politics, especially as a member of government, is one of the safest and fastest way of getting rich in this country. Yeah, check it. Have you seen any politician in government or even out of government jailed for corruption? misuse of the state's resources? No, I haven't seen it happen in this country. I have not seen it happen in this country. And there are many fingers on many of those that you can point fingers to for misbehavior in public offices with the nation's resources. Hey, I know a certain opposition politician who got a piece of land in every place that land was distributed. Is that right? The rule says, according to the Ministry of Housing, you can't get more than one piece of land. You can't get more than one piece of land. But you check, just like this government politicians and parliamentarians and ministers and so on doing, they get a piece of land in every developing land area. If not in their own names, somebody name. But I am telling you, I have a document. Well, I know I came out of the Guidelines and Survey Commission years ago that show a particular representative, no opposition representative that got land in every place that land was distributed at that time, including Wales. That's why I show scant regard for some people, right? Because they're about the people. You mean when you robbing 10 and 20 and 40 pieces, land for yourself and your family? You mean I got nobody in your constituency that needs a piece of land that you could assess? Huh? A lot of mercy, man. Anyhow, you are trying with all who want contracts in land and so on and so forth. I am contented. I might not be satisfied, but I'm contented. I have a spirit of contentment. And so you have to trust me not to sell you out for worldly treasures. Right? I'm not a man of the cloud, but I know maybe I want to believe that my riches is awaiting me in heaven based on my behavior on the face of this one. But let me tell you this. Yesterday we talked about, or for the last 2 days we were talking about the non-appointment of Chancellor and Chief Justice substantively. And yesterday I asked the question, where is the Bar Association? Why we haven't heard from them on this issue? And none of us perhaps had the answer. But you know what? Some people perhaps are saying the Bar Association, the lawyers and so on might not want to make statements and things because they are afraid of, being victimized and so on and so forth. But a good friend of the program sent me this information this morning. And I will share it with you. And you're going to be the judge. Like I asked you to be the judge yesterday. Because yesterday, you see me, I will continue to tell people, I don't just do this thing, Maybe I'm an oracle. I have been sent to do this thing. Yesterday, I looked for the images of the members of the Bar Association. Y'all remember that? And I had them up. Right? And I said, I don't know anything about them. Y'all could be the judge and so on. And so today I'm showing you this article. It's a Starbucks News article. And the headline is Bar Association passes motion for confirmation of Chancellor and Chief Justice. This was in 2018, June. A lot of things happened in June, 1st of June 2018. 1st of June 2018, Starbucks News is reporting that the Bar Association passed a motion for confirmation of Chancellor and Chief Justice. I like to ask him a face when I ask him certain questions. Who was the government in 2018? Who was the government in 2018? The coalition was in government in 2018. And so, like the guardians of democracy, like Article 13, I think they call themselves, like Ghana Human Rights Association, like the Bar Association, all of these civil society organizations have voiced them. They were free. They weren't caged. They weren't timid about sounding their voices when they, in their opinions, believe that government was not doing what government should do. Right? But the evidence is always there. Is who saying song now? Who had a song problem? Joy Fraser, please check your own song. Right? Hear me? All of them had voices then. Because what? Because what? The coalition was the ugly stepchild of Guyana, apparently. Glenda Carr, you and I will be at odds when I read this article because it's not totally true. Let's read. Let's read, class. I'll put it up so we can read together. So you can see it's not a construct of my mind. June 1, 2018. Attorney at law Kamal Ramparan was yesterday re-elected as president of the Ghana Bar Association, which also passed a motion to support the confirmation of acting chancellor of the judiciary, Yonel Cummins Edwards, and acting chief justice, Roxanne George Wiltshire. Sabbath News was reliably informed that the motion was moved by attorney Emily Dodson in the presence of about 40 lawyers who had gathered for the GBA's annual general meeting at the High Court, where elections were held. President David Granger had nominated Belizean Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin for the post of Chancellor, along with Cummins Edwards for the position of Substantive Chief Justice. Right? So I'm pausing here to tell this person, say Granger didn't want to appoint them, that at least Granger chose one out of the two. He was willing to appoint Cummins Edwards to Chief Justice, and he believed that the Belizean Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin was a better fit for Chancellor. Opposition leader Bart Jaggi has since disagreed with the president's choice, and at the moment there is no indication as to what is the solution to the impasse, as the two have traded blame over who must take responsibility for the stalled process. The president had suggested that Jaggio's failure to provide counter proposals in light of his disagreement is stalling the process. Jaggio, in response, said that he would not be making any counter proposal, and that he has made his position clear in his correspondence to the president. Granger recently said that he plans to have a meeting with Jaggio, quote, very soon, end quote, to discuss the appointments and other pressing issues. Outgoing Caribbean Court of Justice President Sir Dennis Bryan and President Designate Justice Adrian Saunders have expressed disappointment at Guyana's failure to make substantive appointments for over a decade. Bryan had contended that the situation should be remedied as soon as possible, while adding that the courts could be approached if needs be. In March, Ramparan at a legal training forum had called for the confirmation of Justices Cummins Edwards and George Wiltshire. Weeks earlier, and following Jaggio's disagreement with the nominees, the Bar Association warned against unconstitutional appointments of the Chancellor and Chief Justice, stating that it would have embarrassing consequences. In a statement which appeared to underline its own concerns about the way in which the process was evolving, the Bar Council of the Ghana Bar Association called on the government and the opposition to, quote, break the impasse and arrive at a consensual resolution, end quote. It's concerned that the appointments might be made by the government outside of the constitutional provision, The Ministry of the Presidency in response labeled the GBA statement as reckless, while stating that Granger had said previously that he would be guided by the provisions of the Constitution of Ghana on the way forward. The Transparency Institute of Guyana, Incorporated, TIGI, has since called for the two leaders to show maturity and to utilize compromise to bring an end to the current impasse. Meanwhile, during the AGM, most of the key executives were re-elected. Re-elected unopposed were Ramkaran as president, Robin Story, senior counsel, as vice president, Denny Husty as vice president, Colin Chase as secretary, and Devendra Kisoon as treasurer. Kiyomo Griffith was elected assistant secretary, while Savishri Parag, Alana Lal, Timothy Jonas, Arudranath Gosai, Jamela Ali, and Sanjeev Datti were elected as committee members. You've heard for yourself, and you've seen what I was reading. So it's not a figment of my imagination, it's not a construct of my mind. But you see a number of what I call them just now, civil society organizations were speaking up when Granger had the task of appointing Chief Justice and Chancellor. Some people ask why he didn't appoint them, why he didn't appoint Janet Cummings Edwards and Dr. George Wiltshire when he was president. The answers are right there. One, he did not select Roxanne George Wiltshire to be appointed, but he did select Cummings Edwards. The leader of the opposition declined, disagreed. According to the Constitution, there must be agreement between the two of them. So his only option was to appoint them as acting. And look at this here. He wanted the Belizean Chief Justice as Chancellor. But once there was no agreement with the leader of the opposition, he did not appoint the Chief Justice as acting anything. He appointed Roxanne George as acting Chief Justice and the Chancellor Cummings Edward as acting Chancellor. The Bar Association, TIGI, and all the rest of them who had voices then caution. Hey, be careful and do not unconstitutionally appoint any of these people, because there will be embarrassing consequences. Have we heard that said to the PPP? Did the PPP say that when it was when it appointed the Commissioner of Police without the agreement of the current leader of the opposition? You see, in this society, we can't get good. We can't get good because people don't talk for sun and talk for rain. They just talk for the element that they prefer. Or people say talk for sun and talk for rain. Where are these voices of constitutionality and defense of the Constitution and the appropriate processes and so on now? Where are they? The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. I know a lot of people say sometimes, why am I talking about this or talking about that? This man is not a political activist or a politician or is in politics. Trust me, it's all politics. It is all politics. I'm going to say to you all again. So long as you have Indian nationalists, because that is what I see them as, controlling your civil society organizations, that is all you're going to get. And those Afro-Guyanese who can't recognize the difference, who like jump on the bandwagon and join them in chanting down their own government and so, you're going to always fall in the trap of empowering people to enslave you. So the token Negroes on the Bar Association find you have voices. Token Negroes in TIGI find you have voices. Call you on.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. We're going to get there. It's just a matter of time. But black people have to learn one thing, my black brothers and sisters in Guyana have to learn one thing in history. And remember things. Every cow does cry for them own calf. Black people don't cry for them calf. Black people always believe one thing. To love others before they love themselves. The Cody man them back in parliament say, hey, what are you doing for your black people? When the Cody man them outside, they just represent the word democracy. I'm fighting for democracy. When black man inside, when
Seems we have lost Flash.
hello? Are you
Yes.
still there?
Yes. Yes,
Look
go
what
ahead.
the people, look what the Cody people do for keep power and for maintain power. You know, if that's Gardner become advisor for Aginatu, the first thing I advise him in, for all these things, the wicked people them are done to black people and children. I kill them with cutlass and mark X for the face. I would advise him the first thing. Change the constitution. Amend it. Remove 5 years every 5 election and put 15 years. And hold back the clock from 5 years back. So black man going to get the first 15 years and put things in place and deliver black people out of slavery. The first thing I advise him. But oh no, black people come and tell France that I agree with you. But this hard. What the right word? Bad and all them nonsense that. That is we black people. I see a video on your page. And my message today to my black brother sister, that's always talk about it. The day we start to love these words, represent these words, love, unity, and support, we will be living half in Guyana. The video what I saw on your page, I believe the day before Christmas or 2 days before Christmas, it's a young black mother with 3 children on the place. I got no respect for that person who only videotaped that and put it outside there. Oh, what she doing? Oh my God, she get them children and what? She call her name, Bona, move from there. All before she step over and see them 3 little children get a glass of milk to drink or tea for drink and have that sister. Christmas time, all them men, everybody just passing and looking and left that sister there. Let me take a pen now, South Garden. I could remember Simone Brooms, get up mothers and aunties and godmother and protest for a young 16-year-old American girl. Nobody couldn't text Simone and tell you, look what happening. Simone Brooms, look what happening there. So Simone Brooms could tell you, driver, keep on driving. Let me go and help this young girl with them 3 kids. We see Simone Brooms make a video with a mother, a coding woman with 3 or 4 daughters. She went and spent your give them and take them shoppings. We black people love other people more than ourselves. We only attack and pretend. But God tells us, God, look at them, because they are wolves in sheep clothing. No black man is wolf in sheep clothing towards black people. If God's garden was old, and I see that news, I would have jumped in the full taxi and go get them. Ask question, and if them say yes, I would take it to the precinct and make a report. Because the family come and said, I'm missing person, the police know where to come and get them. I'll send them. I would make sure them eat and drink for the Christmas idea. And them children wake up Christmas morning with toys, or if my plane small, I will rent a place for them and put them there for a whole week and take them for get in. None black man do that. None. Time going to catch up with black people in Guyana. If I don't represent love, unity, and support, I see what happened Christmas time. Black man alone can get a good Christmas. Only a few. But poor people won't have to go and vote. Come next election, nobody ever girl, nobody. I cannot believe that up to this day. But if the same mother, that young mother, the ocean door night time, that same man, born, he will be there every night. And others, and them left that children outside here. I know God must send help. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. I'm sure Simona Gomes will respond to you in due time if she sees it as necessary. I don't have to defend her.
Good morning to Cams TV. Good morning to the listening public. Well, look at my comment this morning. It's not about this program, but I have raised an idea like 2 weeks before the Christmas season, when the PPP was about to move pass a law in Parliament to take land wherever they desire. And our brother Darren Wing said that he would move to the court over this act. Now then, I call for each citizen to pay, not each citizen, each listeners of Cams TV to let us donate $10,000 each. Give the money to Darren Wing for the movement. I did not get to listen back to the program ever since because I'm a businessman and I was very busy. And so this morning I tune in. And I don't even want to ask. I can say that from then to now, no one has made no contribution. Now, to the listeners of Cams TV, by extension, Afro-Guyanese, how come when Cams TV have his program every morning, we can call in and give all the solution to the issue that black people are going through in this country? And when a simple call make for us to pull our resource, small resource, to fight the battle for the benefit of our people and ourselves, we're not contributing. And so I want to ask Cam this morning, Kadaki, why is it you're waking up every morning and come to this program to enlighten the Guyanese people and share what is coming? What are the plans the PPP have for black people? And all the danger that we are in already that are before our eyes. Why is it you are enlightening us when we of ourselves don't want to help the fight? We don't want to help put up against this fight, this injusticeness that are coming towards us. Why is it? Anyhow, having said all of that, I am still calling on the African community and by extension, Afro-Guyanese to let us make this donation. If 10,000 is too much, let us go low, $2,500 a month. That is very affordable. Seeing that we spend all of our money out during the Christmas season, let us donate $2,500 a month towards this movement. You know, sometimes I'm glad when the PPP is beating down on black people. I am a black man, and the same beating is subject to me too. You know why I've said that? Because I know one thing. Life has no space for big people. right? And stupid man is gonna get stupid man treatment. It has been proven that black people are very stupid. And because of your stupidity, this is the treatment that you will receive. Until we come together and praise each other, we're gonna always go through this victimization. To my brother, Kofi, overseas Guyanese, and Flash Garden. Flash Garden, I'm not attacking you, but you used to be the first to call every morning. $10,000 is only $50 brother. Make that donation. And I also want to say, yesterday morning I hear you preaching on Cams TV. Brother, many generations have come, many generations had passed and died and gone, and many will come and dead and go. And you're going to always preach about this Jesus, and he will never come to deliver you. You know why? We have to deliver ourselves. I thank you for playing my voice now. Have a nice day.
Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Kudaki. Good morning. Kudaki, you would ask a question, you would talk about something. And as this morning I lay down and it just came to my thoughts. I want to ask you, not you, the whole public, a question. What country did Janet Jagan originally came from? Because I heard someone said in the oil, she was the one who signed some documents. So we have to look back to see originally what country she came from, where was she born, what her parents did, and most of it all, if she was an American, we have to see if she was American. And secondly, I want to say, what country are the people who made up ExxonMobil? What country did they came from? Because what we as Guyanese are not doing, we are not, I shouldn't say we, I should say some of us. Country comes first. You have to love your country, support your country, regardless of what. If you can get together and sit down and say, well, look, this is where you went wrong, and this is what you're supposed to do, and you didn't do it. Let's come together, join hands, and do things. But no, we do not do that, especially some of us, Guyanese. We do not do those type of stuff. And because we're not doing that, it's just leaving us wide open for other people to step upon us when we do things. So these are questions that we gotta ask ourselves. What country did she came from? Where did her parents originate from? So people stand up for their country where they belong. And that is the reason why she made certain decisions on those ExxonMobil documents that she signed. And we as people have to look back to see when you were doing certain things. Like you are born Guyanese. Yes, love, I'm on the phone. Give me 1 minute. You're a Guyanese and you stand up for what you believe in. You represent your country for what you believe in. Okay, Kadaki? Kadaki, have a good day. All right?
You too. Thank you for your call.
Ms. Kadaki, good morning. Good morning to you and your viewers. This thing getting real and real sickening, honestly. And I don't know what do we black people, because like we waking up, we opening we eye, we see what's going on. You know, these PPP people, these people is freaking control. You know, these people just they think they own Guyana. Guyana belongs to them alone. You know, so them could make the own law. Them don't want decent people to run country. You know, them want corrupt people, incompetent people, and people who they could put a rope on their neck and say when to go, when to come. You know, them don't want decent people in no way in society. Judiciary, no way they don't want to control. You understand? And people gotta realize that Ali can't make decision on his own. Don't matter, you might be flamboyant now, running around like a horse without head. Jack Dio is the one who running this country. And people should realize though. And without Jack Dio say, nothing won't go ahead and nothing wrong. And people should realize that. You understand? What do we people, honestly, this thing getting me sick and sick every single day, Mr. Kadaki. It's real sick because we black people, all we do is sit down, talk, no action, nothing to do. But Monday that protest, how much of them went out for protest for the two judges? Come on, we people need to do more. But when anything, we just started. When the PPP come now, they get 50,000, 100,000, they feel like, oh yes, the PPP doing good for we. They're doing this and that. Watch, you check and see the amount of people that got cleaning gutters and all them nonsense. See how much change on cleaning gutters. These people so ridiculous, and we people like so stupid or something. Come, I wanna who really do we people? We people like we waking up opening we are in them thing. We just selling out to Matty boards, right? Yeah. Honestly, God, we just selling out with Matty boards, right? But 2 days had protest yesterday, day before yesterday. How much people? If there are 20 people out there, they had plenty. And all we doing is just sit down and rock back and accept the punishment what the people doing. That's why the people continue to do the nonsense what they're doing, And all they doing, we suffering, the country hard. Get up here behind and go out on the street and protest. That's the only way these people understand business. Let these people know it's not business as usual. This country belongs to each and everybody. You understand? It's not one race alone this country belongs to. I know these people operating like, Jack Dio operating like he got bought right or he got the thing on this land, Come on, this place belongs to each and everybody. To be honest, honestly, that's my comments, and I share for we people. If we don't wake up and get up now, honestly, I think we'll get worse and worse. Thank you very much.
I got a question for this voice note. I notice it's a local number. Have you been out there in support of the protesters and the protests? I'm just asking. I'm not attacking you, please. I'm asking. Right? Because there are many of us who are right here and we don't go, But we can't really encourage people to go because they're out and so. I think I keep saying if one person from every household turns out to these protests, we're going to have large enough numbers. Good? Because I'm employed, let's say, I work in with the government and I find the government going to dismiss me and so on if I go to protest. Well, I'm a not working cousin. I'm a not working nephew that benefits from my income. Can we arrange that? My not working nephew that benefits from my income, can he go out and stand in lieu of my presence, let's say? We got to think these things through. We can do a lot of things. I remember when I became active in politics as a youngster, my sister was what was she? Sergeant, perhaps, in the Guyana Defense Force. But my sister was a member of the Guyana Defense Force. And my mother was working for the government at the Hydrometeorological Office of the Guyana Ministry of Agriculture, right? I think they fell under there. No, I think Ministry of Works. Hydromet fell under Ministry of Works at the time. So my mother was employed with Hydromet. My sister was a member of the Army. And I was politically active. And I always remember them asking me, "Why do you upon? Are you get involved in politics? You want to lose me what? Who gonna take care of you?" Well, I be me. I someone like a Buxtonian against a mule, whatever that is. I'm still here. My mother worked until retirement. And my sister, I think, worked until retirement, and then she migrated. Good. If you can't turn up because you believe they're going to fire you, find a member of your family and send them. Sometimes you can even pay somebody to go. All of it is part of supporting the protest. But all we are, we fighting. We can't listen, we can't know. And we expect others to carry that burden for us, right? We want freedom, but we ain't willing to join the fight. Or you gonna come at somebody else's expenses, right?
Good morning, Kadaki. Now it seems as though the PPP has control of all of the black churches in Guyana. Go in New Amsterdam and see how these black pastors, they have small contracts cleaning trenches, cleaning drains, cleaning burial ground. They choose not to give the money to the council anymore, to the mayor of the cities anymore. They are giving small contracts to the church, the pastors, and Jill. Every now and then, Jill get some big some conference with church and the Pegasus, feeding them, and they leaving as far as Crabble Creek, going down to Georgetown. Yes, Jill, the PP has control now over all the black churches in Guyana. So you guys have to watch yourself. And you think I'm lying? Look what happened to Nigel London. Well, I don't know if he has been controlled by them, but Nigel is not talking anymore. So I hope you get some idea or sense of what is going on. Bye.
I don't know that Nigel is not talking anymore. As a matter of fact, even as we speak now, I think Nigel London is on. But I don't know. Y'all be your own judge. I ain't judging nobody. To each his own. Right? But people gotta eat. People gotta live. But at what cost are you living? And how much is it costing your people when you choose to live?
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. Mr. Granger made a big mistake at the time. He should not have listened to Jack Dio. He was the president at the time, and he should go ahead and appoint those two women. And Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, you guys got to wake up. You have to wake up. Don't allow this government to continue the discrimination against you people, Afro-Guyanese especially. Don't allow it. Y'all wake up. It's time for y'all wake up. Y'all come together. Go join the coalition. Vote for changing Guyana. If not, you people would continue to suffer. That's my take for today.
Let me say this, scholar, this voice note on the right. Granger couldn't just go ahead and appoint. Because remember, the Constitution calls for an agreement. And since there was no agreement between Granger and Jack Dio at the time he was leader of the opposition, he couldn't just go ahead and appoint. It would have been an unconstitutional appointment. And obviously the PPP and the Old Lady Bar Association and TIGI and everybody would have gone to court to challenge that appointment. That is the hint at embarrassing consequences, I think. Right? So keep that in mind. And in the same breath, I'm saying, Ali can't appoint or should not be able to appoint because there's no agreement on who he wants to appoint. Right? Right now, the leader of the opposition favors the two female jurists. And unless Ali is appointing them, I would assume that then he can't appoint anyone else. Right? It is now 2 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. There's another voice note, and then I'll make a closing comment about that person called
Karaki. Blessings and good morning to you. Karaki, is the PPP a corrupt party? Yes, it's not an allege because the evidence are there. Karaki, the PPP is a racial party. It's not an allege. The evidence are there. I remember a couple of years ago when the Tobago House of Assembly was in full swing. Karaki, the UNC came across to Tobago and thing to campaign and thing. And when Tobagonians saw what it is was going on, everybody was scared. Everybody was scared. Everybody was scared because the crowd that they had, it was frightening because they was giving out t-shirts and phone and money to thousands of people. Karaki, when the election called, the UNC didn't even have a seat. So the people in Guyana who appear to be on the PTP side. They're scared, so they behaving like that. But my word, when the election call, Bharat Jagdeo and them will have to go and hide. They will have to go and hide. Crowd don't win election, no. Numbers does win election. So Karaki, God have a hand with what it is going on. And God don't like wrong things. He don't like wrong things. You have a good day, my brother.
Thank you. I was saying that voice note, that's why I continue to sensitize people, make people aware and so on, and people are not contributing to this fund and that fund and the other fund. They said, damn you do, damn you don't. I believe education is supposed to change attitude. And I will continue to offer education to people. I continue to bring information, news and information and analyses and discourses and everything to people. And what people do with that information is another thing. Right? Okay? Good. Yeah. So don't insinuate that, that because people are not responding to the suggestions to contribution here or there, that I should just shut shop. You think gonna happen? Right? I'll have a good one. Love you. Remember the 26th is big people after lunch, police at Club Twilight. I'll come out, have a good time, support the thing. Supercat is going to be providing musical entertainment along with other sound systems and DJs and so on. It's only $1,000. Bye-bye, y'all.